I'm back. What is happening, people? My name is Robbie, and today we are judging other people's financial literacy. So what do I mean by that? This is a reaction video, obviously. Probably says it in the title, so you probably knew that was coming. Today's video is a reaction video, and today we are reacting to living on $181,000 a year outside London, England. Millennial money. Why have they done it in dollars if it is in England? What is the current exchange rate? 0.79. So 181,000 is around £143,000 per year, not to be sniffed at. So Millennial Money is a series by CNBC Make It. If you watch financial videos on YouTube, you're probably familiar. And basically this person is going to tell us how they make their money and what they do with it. I'm curious if they live outside of London. I presume outside, I mean, I live outside London. I'm just miles away. I presume outside London means pretty nearby. And if they're on 181 grand a year, it's probably like Surrey or Kent or somewhere nearby London where people are quite wealthy, I think. So it's now time to judge his finances and establish how I could better spend his money than he could, because I'm confident I could. Also, you probably noticed that the background is different. I've moved my office around. I now have a little area that I work in because the room is an absolute mess. There's no stuff behind me. I'll probably put stuff up on that wall at some point. I'm still trying to figure out the lighting situation to make sure the video looks good. I've probably glanced at the little screen on my camera a few times whilst talking because I'm trying to make sure that the lighting's good. I don't know if it is. Let me know, does this lighting work? If it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do because I've already moved the office around now. Anyway, you don't care about that. Let's crack on and judge this guy's finances.
My goal in life is not to make a lot of money, although I enjoy investing and I enjoy making money. What is most important is good friends, family and experiences, and money is just a vehicle to enable me to do what I want in life.
He gives off the sort of air of wealthiness, and he's playing tennis, which is like a rich person's game, I guess. 132 grand a year. That's wrong. When was this video published? Is this an old video? It must be quite old. A year ago, okay, because I worked out the exchange rate to be slightly different, but that's fine. Same sentiment. He makes a lot of money for a 34-year-old, and I'm going to guess he works in banking/finance.
Hi, I'm Alex Simeonoglu. I'm 34 years of age and I live in Maidenhead, which is just outside of London. My job is strategic assistant and chief of staff for a large pharmaceutical organisation, and I make £132,000 a year.
So I was wrong on the industry, which is annoying. So I was wrong on the industry. I'm sure a lot of you guessed the same though.
So I'm half Greek, half English, but I was born and grew up in Athens, Greece until I was 18 years of age. And since then I've travelled a little bit back and forth. So I did my bachelor's degree in the UK, then I went back to Greece to do my military service and I started my own business. And then I went to Paris to do my MBA, and now I've ended up in London for the past 7 to 8 years.
Parental guidance. Is the guy what they call a nepo baby, where he has achieved what he's achieved because of his parents? Because the fact he's an immigrant from Greece, well, half Greek, half English, but migrated from Greece when he was 18, in those instances, I believe, whenever you hear about that, typically people are starting off from low means, worked hard to get his degree and things like that. But this photo of his parents looks like they have a bit of cash.
From a very young age, my father taught me some very good financial principles. He was a bit of a role model to understand how to manage money, how to live beneath your means and not show off. And by the time I reached university, I was on a daily basis tracking stocks and getting involved with my father's investments. Investing is something that I have a huge passion for. I read investment news every single day. I look at stock prices, and it's actually the thing that I talk about the most with all of my friends and family. It actually, jokingly, is probably a second job for me.
Purchased his home off plan in June 2015, and it's in Maidenhead, did it say? So he bought it in 2015. I'm sure it's worth a lot more than he paid for it.
I currently own my own 2-bed, 2-bathroom flat in Maidenhead. I actually got a mortgage, a loan, for 13 years, but I plan to pay it off in 9. so I have another 4 years left. And if all goes well, then what I will do with it is I will rent it out in order to have some passive income while I transition to another flat or house, whether in the UK or abroad.
Good idea. That's what I was going to do with my previous flat before I moved into this house. But then the tax implications of doing so didn't make any sense because of a thing called additional dwelling supplement, which means you need to pay, at the time it was 4%, it's now 6%. You need to pay 6% of the value of your additional home. So this house that I'm in just now would count as my additional home because I already owned a flat that I used to live in. So I would have had to pay 4% of the value of this property, which would have taken a long time to recover in rent, so it didn't make any sense. But in general, it's a good idea. I don't like that it's given us it in dollars because the guy is in England and he's talking in pounds. But he bought the house at 383,000. My guess is 450, maybe even more, maybe slightly more than 450 in dollars. Good coffee machine.
But the main reason why I bought in Maidenhead is because it's actually financially a very good option. It's near London, it's actually very near Heathrow. But it means that for the same amount of money, I can actually have something much, much bigger. And actually, when I look at the cost price of the flat, which was around about 300,000, there's no way I would have anything equivalent in London. So overall, I think my money management skills are pretty good. I manage my budget monthly very, very strictly. So I have a very set rule in terms of how much money I want to save each month, and I put that aside immediately, which forces me to save money each month. I think on the flip side, if I'm honest with myself, there's point in times where I probably save a bit too much, which has a detriment in terms of some of my lifestyle and also my interactions with my friends. And I think the other thing that sometimes I can do is I can unexpectedly splurge. So for example, I bought a car a couple of years ago, which is a nice car, and I did buy it to a good deal, but did I really need it? I probably didn't, and that would have...
I think in general, in life, if you like cars, for example, you want a nicer car, if you're making enough money to comfortably pay for it, I don't think you need to beat yourself up for it. I think that was an A5, an Audi A5 that he's bought, and I don't think that's a massive splurge when you're making as much as he's making. I also notice he has what looks like a Tag Heuer on his wrist. They're not cheap either.
Been money better put aside to invest or save. In total, I put around about 34% of my gross salary into my pension each month.
That's huge.
I also maximize the UK investment scheme that allows you to put round about £150 in company shares, which then my company adds a little bit on top. I actually take the full car allowance. As I own my own car, it means that I get £6,800 each year for car allowance, and that is good money that I put into savings.
$67 a month and $55 a month for gym and tennis subscription. Seems pretty bog standard, to be honest.
Now, mixology is probably my most expensive hobby, in which I host cocktail parties quite often. So I probably
Guy loves to get pissed.
Spend between £50 to £200 a month on bottles. But I don't drink £200 worth of alcohol each month. That's only for my guests.
The guy is spending, or is sort of beating himself up for buying an Audi A5, and I seen that the finance payment for it was roughly, I think it was about $130, which is like, what, £100 a month? You probably put a large deposit down. But he's spending more on alcohol than he is on his car, yet he beats himself up for the car, which is interesting. I suppose the alcohol is a hobby if he's making cocktails and he's having parties, and that's like his way of socialising. But interesting the way he's prioritising that budget and beating himself up about the car, but not about the mixology.
So the way I do it is probably once a month I'll have a cocktail party in which I want to try new recipes, and what I do is there's always a theme and I have a menu.
That sounds quite fun, actually. That's the type of thing that me and my fiancée were doing during lockdown, which was dangerous. I was finding myself having a few drinks on a Tuesday night while watching the TV, because what else was I going to do? So we then branched out into cocktails, and it was pretty fun, actually. I really enjoyed making the cocktails, but it's messy, or the way that I was doing it was messy. I was spilling stuff everywhere. investments. The stuff that we're all interested in here.
The way that I invest in the UK is through a stocks and shares ISA. To make things very simple, this is very similar to the US Roth IRA.
$400,000 in investments. That's like what, 350 grand in pounds?
So I think the biggest money mistake that I've ever made is investing in stocks that I knew nothing about.
I've done that.
One of the most important principles when investing is that I need to understand what the company is. There's been a couple of occasions in the past where I've put a big amount of money in companies that I actually knew nothing about, and I ended up losing 50 to 60% of that capital. It's a lesson well learned, but actually it did hurt me financially.
I've done this as well, and he's right, it is a good lesson to learn. Thankfully, the stocks that I've done that with were small amounts in the beginning. For the most part, I did lose quite a lot with cryptocurrency, or some cryptocurrency I should say. But in terms of percentage of my net worth, it still wasn't a lot, so I'm thankful that I learned that lesson the easy way rather than the hard way.
So credit card usage is actually one of the things that I'm very passionate about. When I was in Greece,
Credit card usage is something he's passionate about. I feel like passionate is maybe the wrong word for that. I'm a big advocate of using credit cards for your purchases to get points and build your credit score and things like that, but I wouldn't say I'm passionate about credit cards personally.
That I never did because credit card usage was seen as something as dangerous and you might get into debt. I actually use my credit card just as I would use a debit card. The first thing is I get points, and I love points. It enables me to buy miles, whether it's to travel, to see friends and family, or even to purchase things. And I'm very pleased to say that I have a 999 Experian credit rating in the UK, which is
nice. Mine's is something like 970, and I'm very happy with that because I have not had the smoothest ride when it comes to credit. So I'm very happy with mine's, but it's not as good as 999.
The highest possible, but it also gives you a lot of protection. So whether you travel using your credit card, it means you have travel or medical insurance, and when you purchase items, even a car, it means that it gives you some sort of protection.
By the look of it, just looking at this screenshot here, he likes his shoes to be kept nice. I would imagine they're good quality shoes. He dresses nice. It doesn't seem to be like designer stuff, but it looks like good quality, like shirts and stuff. So I think he's going to say that like that's something that he spends his money on.
In terms of things that I splurge on, shoes is one of the things that I have a passion for.
I don't like the shoes, personally. Typically when you hear someone his age and younger, when they say they have a passion for shoes, it's typically Jordans, Yeezys, Nikes and Adidas. Not usually leather dress shoes.
So I'm very peculiar. I like my shoes to be a specific type of smelling leather and look a certain way. So I have a fairly big collection of leather shoes that are fairly expensive. So I polish them on a monthly basis. I also moisturize them, so they will go a long way. But it's actually quite a big splurge because the minimum I spend on a good pair of leather shoes will be £600 to £700.
See, I could tell they were good quality shoes, which is good because if you wear them often and take care of them, you can get them resold, you can get them repaired, they'll last longer because you're spending more money on them, they're higher quality. I once had a pair of dress shoes that I got from Primark when I was an IT apprentice in 2013 or something like that. I got these shoes from Primark. I think they probably cost me £20, and the heel, like dress shoes obviously they have a little bit of a heel on them, a hole started to develop in them because I had to walk to and from work because I never had a driver's license and I didn't make enough money to do lessons at the time. So I would walk 3 miles to work, 3 miles back, which very quickly wears away Primark shoes. When I did wear them away, gravel started to get inside the heel and I didn't know until I was walking through the office and my shoes sounded like maracas because of all the gravel rattling inside. I couldn't afford any better shoes at the time, but I can definitely see the appeal of buying more expensive shoes that are made better because that was embarrassing. And then at one point the sole came off the front of the shoe, so it looked like my shoe was talking. Also embarrassing. But I was making £666 a month, so what the fuck was I meant to do?
The other thing that I splurge on, but less frequently, is my computer. So I have a custom built computer in which I select every component. It's quite an expensive hobby, and it cost me round about, to build my own computer, £2,000.
That sounds like a lot of money, but there's a lot of people who who use their computers for gaming, for example, and they'll spend that much money and they don't have an investment portfolio like this guy. He has a multiple six-figure investment portfolio. He can afford to spend £2,000 on a PC if he uses it and it's something that he's passionate about, something that he's interested in. I think, anyway.
Things that I refuse to spend money on is a new car. The other thing that I refuse to buy is branded clothing for everything. And I like my nice shoes. But when I go to the gym, I'm fine wearing a cheap t-shirt that will do its job for the long term. Looking forward into the future, it's always difficult to be 100% certain, but I do know that beyond progressing in my career, I do very much want to move potentially to another country in order to experience a different culture and a different experience. The other thing is that being 34, I'm probably ready to start a family of my own, whether that's in the UK or in another country. I think it's probably something that is very important to me, friends and family being one of the most important things in life. One of the things that I like about working is not the money or the job title, but it's actually the opportunity to be useful and make an impact in my life. So if all goes well, I'll be healthy until a very old age and I'll keep working because that will give me a lot of purpose.
Well, to be honest, there's not really much you can say about Alex. He has a good outlook on life, positive person, he seems nice, he invests a lot of his money, he doesn't splurge his money. I'm just looking at the comments and everyone is just saying good things about him. I did say at the beginning of the video we were going to judge his financial decisions. To be honest, they all seem like pretty good financial decisions. I couldn't really see anything that I thought, why are you doing that? So unfortunately, there is no drama that comes with this video. But I did find that one entertaining. Hopefully they make more videos of the UK for CNBC Make It. I do enjoy the Millennial Money videos. I think they might have done like a Gen Z? Is it Gen Z or the people younger than millennials? Like I think I'm on like the border between them. But Gen Z I believe is like the next one down. I'd be interested to see that as well. I wish they would do that. Maybe they do. But I hope you found this video interesting, entertaining. Let me know in the comments what you think of Alex and his spending habits. I really don't have anything bad to say about them, unfortunately. I do prefer when there is episodes where people are spending like an idiot, for lack of a better phrase. People who are not very good with their money. It's more entertaining to watch when you see that someone who's making £30,000 a year is spending 15 of that in car finance, for example. I'm not even going to highlight any of the comments because everyone's just saying nice things about him. So that's it. See you next week. Take it easy.